saving it. Interesting. No shot clock. You need one stop. Do you send multiple players at LeBron? Down to 5. Down to 3. Make somebody else beat you. 3 on the way. He got it! Make somebody else beat you.
What's up, guys? This is David Lodi, and I'm here with my best friend.
Sean King.
And welcome to our new NBA podcast, TopKeyTalk. Funny thing, we've always wanted to do a podcast because, to be real with you guys, we're just two kids that love basketball. It's our favorite sport. And why not talk about it? If we can argue about it in Instagram comment section, if we can argue about it at birthday dinners, why can't we talk about it? I'm sure you agree.
Yeah, I agree, bro. I remember I've been a basketball fan for God knows how long, and I've got you into basketball. What, maybe
True story.
like this year? Not 2019,
2
but like
years ago.
2018, 2 years ago.
Yeah.
Yeah, bro. My favorite team is the Brooklyn Nets. You gotta rep it. Don't worry, I'm not a bandwagon. Just because Katie and Kyrie came over, I've been a Nets fan for a while. I have pictures to prove it. Don't worry.
And interestingly enough, I'm a Mavericks fan because I love that Euro wave.
That's the
And
whitest team of all time.
And speaking of, it's funny, before the podcast, we were talking about a top 10 list, right? Top 10 greatest of all time. And I think that in a top 10 list, Dirk Nowitzki should be in it. But my counterpart over here doesn't think so. I don't know.
I disagree. I was looking at the post. It was posted by Top Ball Coverage. Shout out. Hold on. Let me pull up the list here. All right. Okay, so he said that the list was Michael Jordan, LeBron James, Kareem, Bill Russell, Magic Johnson, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. Oh, I said that already. Hold up. I'm fucking up. All right. So it's Michael Jordan, LeBron James, Kareem, Magic Johnson, Bill Russell, Kobe Bryant, Tim Duncan, Wilt Chamberlain, Larry Bird, and Hakeem. I thought it was a decent list, but since I'm a LeBron fan, I'll have him at 1, obviously. But I don't think that Dirk should be there, but he does.
Me personally, I think that Dirk Nowitzki should be there because he had arguably one of the greatest playoff runs of all time. In 2011 when he led his team to the finals. That was insane. He knocked off Kobe in 4. He knocked off a Thunder stacked with KD and Russ, and then of course he knocked off a fresh, fantastic Miami Heat team. So that's something. So Dirk is cemented his greatness in my book, everyone's book.
I agree, but it was a pretty freaking impressive run, but 11 rings and all-time leading scorer.
Yeah, but he played babies.
He didn't play babies. They were still grown men.
High school teams.
Bill Russell is a certified great, and you can't deny that.
He is.
My top 10 list would go LeBron, Jordan, LeBron, Jordan, Kobe.
Yeah, me too.
Then Kareem, then Tim Duncan.
Yep.
Then Magic, then Larry Bird, then Wilt, and then Dirk. At number 10. I'll put him in the top 10 list just because I don't think Hakeem is like worthy for the top 10. Don't get me wrong, he's one of the greatest basketball players ever, but like Dirk's on another level, if you know what I'm saying. Like when people think of basketball, you don't. I mean, some people think of Hakeem, but you think of like the certified greats like Dirk, LeBron, and all them.
3,000 club. But either way, moving on from the greatest of all time, greatest of all time, just like basketball right now is moving on from the era of super teams to the era of the dynamic duo.
I love that.
Kawhi Leonard brought balance to the force, and yeah, it's insane.
When I woke up that morning and I saw that Kawhi Leonard signed with the Clippers, I was like, oh, okay, that's pretty cool. We knew it was coming. And then I was like, oh, George got traded. I was like, what? I was like, there's no way that this is real. That Woj bomb freaking blew me away, yo. That shit was crazy.
But yeah, talking about dynamic duos, the West is stacked. Uh,
Like always.
well, that's an understatement.
Yeah.
The East, it's looking like the I don't know, it's looking like the East last season. It's no LeBron.
Yep.
You have Giannis dominating. You have the Sixers. Sixers, no, we're gonna get back to that on the Sixers, but let's keep it on the
Yeah.
West for now.
Go
I
on,
mean,
going back to the East. The East, literally, the Raptors just took over the NBA championship and beat the Warriors in
yep,
what was it, six games, right?
6 games.
Yeah, they beat them 6 games, and now they went from an NBA championship caliber team to now
To
they're literally
yeah,
just gonna be like borderline playoffs, 8th seed if they're lucky.
yeah, that's yeah.
Yeah.
But with Kawhi Leonard, uh, we were all on Instagram, we were all on Twitter, we were all watching ESPN. For the longest time, it seemed like he was going to the Lakers. Seemed like he was going to LA. He was gonna hit it up with LeBron, AD, and that team would have had an instant championship. But that one afternoon or one morning, whenever it was, when we all saw the Woj bomb, it's it's LA, but it's not the LA that we thought. And it's interesting. And the fact that he was able to recruit Paul George, we saw some shades of LeBron with what he can do and his impact.
And speaking about that thing with Paul George, they said that they were just talking about how Kawhi Leonard had nothing to do with the recruitment of Paul George. So then I also
Oh,
saw another report that said that the NBA is going to open an investigation for tampering, like for free
yikes.
agency.
Tampering, that's fun.
I don't know if do you believe that Kawhi Leonard didn't you think he recruited Paul George or no?
Um, Personally, yes, because Kawhi Leonard has, as bland as he may seem, and as much of a robot that we all think he is, he's an excellent talent. And I wouldn't be surprised if he called PG and said, "You saw what I just did in Canada for the first time. How about you come over here and we do it?" You're playing with Russell Westbrook, and don't get me started on Russell Westbrook because once we get into it,
Oh, shit, bro. He wouldn't if that Kawhi Leonard gave me a call and spoke to me like that. He wouldn't have to ask me twice, bro. I'm jumping on the Clippers as well. But
but I
here we
mean,
got
if you think about it, Paul George, right? 18-19 season, he averaged 28 points. 28 points per game. He was in the MVP talks. Kawhi Leonard, fresh off winning a championship, fresh off leading his team to the finals, 26.6 points per game. And it's not even the points that matter in this case. It's two men that can elevate their teams to the highest of the highs, and someone that just proved that he's definitely in the greatest of all time talks. Well, definitely going to be there if he gets this new chip back. So the Clippers are going to do great. They have Young telling you have Mr. Six Man of the Year Lou Will running it
Well,
back
baby.
up.
What
Yeah.
a man. What a guy, Yeah, but the
Uh,
Clippers are looking nasty, but I honestly think that the Lakers are going to be the team of LA because once Boogie comes back 100%, because he got skinny. If you saw some videos, he used to be fat when he was playing
he's
on the
putting it in.
Warriors.
Yep, he's putting in training, and apparently he's his words. He's fully healed. And getting back to the Clippers for just a second,
Yeah.
Doc Rivers obviously fantastic coach. Uh, their team right now, Kawhi Leonard and Paul George list put up 2 games against the Warriors, and 2 games might not be a lot, but 31-point lead came right back up, and then another game gave the Warriors a good scare. That's without superstars.
Just think
So
about it. The Clippers put up 2 games against the Warriors, and their best player on their team is Lou Will that comes off the bench.
yeah,
They
so
don't got no Chris
it's gonna be
Paul.
a
They don't got
sight
Jamal
to
Crawford.
see.
They don't got Blake Griffin. They don't got DeAndre Jordan. They don't
Exactly.
got none of those players, bro. Their starting lineup is like what? Not even Pat Bev. Shy Giggly Alexander, which is
Hmm.
he's an awesome player, bro. I don't know why they got rid of him, but yeah, but it was worth it because Paul George is a monster. But they got Shy. They got Danilo Gallinari. They
Yep.
got Montrezl Harrell, all those guys are monsters. But I think that the Lakers are going to be the team to beat this year. It's going to be insane. It's definitely going to come down to the Western Conference Finals between them two to show who's the
I
real.
agree.
But let's go to these new NBA duos. The top 5 in NBA duos in the league right now is what we were just talking about, Kawhi and Paul George. Then you got LBJ and AD, a bunch of goats. You got my boys, my hometown, KD and Kyrie. Get well, KD. I hope to see you soon. Then you got James Harden and Russell Westbrook. Hold on, let's take a pause for a second. Let's talk about Russell Westbrook.
Okay, so I'm gonna have to start this off. Russell Westbrook is an excellent basketball player. He has athleticism that is through the roof.
Yep.
He has extreme loyalty, but let's pause for a second and forget about the fact that he's on a different team now. He has extreme loyalty, and he gave hope to a new franchise, a franchise that was, a city, I should say, that was gifted, a city that was given something at the price and the cost of another city over there up near the Canadian border, city which shall not be named. But, and Russell Westbrook, he gave them hope. He gave them excellent years. He gave them 3 back-to-back seasons of triple doubles, but he never gave them, without Kevin Durant, a spot in the second round.
Why you get on my man's like that?
I don't think that Russell Westbrook's game can win championships, and it hasn't got them past it. It hasn't.
Yeah. Well, here's my take on Russell Westbrook. I think Russell Westbrook is awesome. He's a superstar player. You can't doubt that. He's a superstar player. 2016 All-Star MVP, monster on the boards. We'll get back to stat padding after this, but yeah, Russell Westbrook is awesome. Man, he could have done something.
Scoring champ, 2-time assist champ too.
Yeah, he could have done something against LeBron and Wade and them, but LeBron's just too much to handle. That Miami Heat team is amazing, but yeah, I don't know. I loved Russell Westbrook in his MVP season. He was just a monster. I was always rooting for him. More triple doubles, keep it coming, because I wanted him to beat Oscar Robertson's record, which he did. And that last game that I saw him play when he was playing against the Denver Nuggets, when he hit that 3-pointer. Oh my God, bro! That was one of the greatest games I've ever watched from like an individual player. But yeah, Russell Westbrook in my eyes is awesome, but I don't know how him and James Harden are gonna be when they're on the floor together.
That's the thing. 2018-2019 season, and before that, obviously getting back to Russell Westbrook's greatness. I mean, he had his 2020 game. Yes, dedicating it to Nipsey Hussle. I mean, it doesn't get much more beautiful than that.
Rest in peace.
Exactly, but this past season, he averaged near 23 points, 22.9, 11.1 rebounds, and 10.7 assists. So obviously a triple-double.
Yep.
We know he wants the ball. We know he wants the ball at all costs because, for good reason, he was the best. Well, he was either the first best or the second best player in OKC with Paul George. James Harden, 36.1 points per game.
Yep.
36.1. We all know what he did. He had that back-to-back 30-point games. And whether you bring up the fact that he can get away with his little move, or whether you think it's a travel or not, or whether you think he gets calls or not, I mean, the man did everything he could, except he fell to the Warriors. It's insane. Whether you talk about his game or not, and how he looks for free throws and how he shoots, he had that one game where he shot 27 free throws. All that aside, he's a fantastic player, and he's a superstar, someone that can lead the Rockets to a championship.
Yep. With the right squad, of course.
With the right squad. Now you have Russell Westbrook, a man that we know wants the ball, a man that we know, he wants to score, but he wants to get rebounds. He wants to have that triple-double across the board, which there's nothing wrong with that, because if you look at James Harden's stats, he has 6.6 rebounds, 7.5 assists, and what I say to those is I just say that when he's there and he's able to get a rebound, yeah, he'll grab that rebound, but he doesn't seek it. He doesn't seek triple doubles. His thing is scoring,
Yeah,
and that's what he does.
the chemistry between them two is going to be questionable, but
Right. Yeah.
James Harden is a bona fide scorer. As soon as he went
Yep.
to Houston in 2012, I'm looking at the stats here right now. James Harden averaged 25.9. He averaged over 25 points per game from
Yep.
2012 when he joined the Rockets all the way to right now when he's averaging freaking over 30 points. It's
Over
insane.
over
They both
35 points.
they
Over
both want the ball.
35.
They both
They
want the ball.
exactly.
They both average over 20 points per game. Like Russell Westbrook, he's been averaging over 20 points like almost his whole career. Except for the 2 first years of his career at 16 and 15. After that, his points per game went rising to the top. And yeah, he could dish the ball and stuff like that. But when it comes to the moment, you know that Russell Westbrook's going to want to take the shot.
Exactly, and that's the thing. So well put. James Harden's going to want to take the shot.
Yep.
And obviously, this is all just talk. I mean, they can go into the season and they can both have 27 points per game, and they can both have a triple double if they really wanted to, and they can go, 60 and 12. No, not 12.
They can
20.
even make history.
2. I'm an idiot. Yeah,
They
exactly.
could even make history. They could be the first 2 players on the same team to be co-MVPs. Literally, they can make history, but that's not how we look at it, though.
This right now, it's it's all talk, but based on both players and their play style, this is a very real concern of how they're going to play together. But the best of luck to Houston because, in my opinion, they deserve a chip. You have 2 hungry guys that know what they're doing and 2 hungry former MVP, multi-time All-Stars that can definitely tango.
Yeah. All right. And going back to the last the last list that I was at, the top 5 NBA duos.
Yep.
We didn't quite catch the end of it, but they're ranking Steph and Clay worse than James Harden and Russell Westbrook. I'm completely against that. I think that Clay is literally the best shooter in the NBA, next to Steph Curry and Joe Harris, of course. Shout out.
I've always said this. On a good night, Klay Thompson is one of the best shooters, if not the best shooters we've ever seen. That's the thing.
Bro, he's not human in Game 6, bro. Come on.
Exactly. As far as I think, so I don't want to hog everything. They have D'Lo as well, but not counting him in right now. I think the Warriors are going to be fantastic as always. And now that Kevin Durant's gone, I think Curry's going to go back into MVP mode. So
definitely, because he's going to have to carry the squad the entire year. But I mean, Draymond Green, obviously, he's proved to me that he's a really good player. He was trying to carry them on his backs in that finals, but Steph Curry just wasn't showing up in those last few games. But yeah, he has D'Lo and he has Draymond on his side. He doesn't really have that good of a big man. They just picked up Willie Cauley-Stein in this free agency. Willie Cauley-Stein's like another JaVale McGee. He'll rebound, he'll set you picks, but he's not like the best scorer. Like he's like a DeAndre Jordan kind of build, like Dwight Howard. But yeah, Steph Curry is definitely going to turn into a different breed this year because he knows what he has to do and what he's got to accomplish in order to get back into the finals, which I don't think is going to happen.
There's going to be no surprise here. The Warriors are going to stay the Warriors. Maybe they're going to tone it down a notch. I definitely don't think they're making the finals. You definitely don't think they're making the finals. But they're going to show up. They're going to be in the playoffs. So
hell yeah. There's no way the Warriors are missing the playoffs.
Yeah, exactly.
If the Warriors miss the playoffs, everybody who watches this podcast, I'll each buy you a Steph Curry jersey.
Or a jersey of your choice if you don't like Steph Curry. Now if we're just scanning duos, I want to move on to one of my
Oh yeah, I know what you're about to say.
I want to move on to one of my favorite duos. Actually, okay, let's say it's my favorite duo. The Rookie of the Year, Luka Doncic, and the Beast, the Monster, the 7 foot. What is it? 1.
Yep. Nah, I think he's like 7'2", maybe.
The Killer, the Unicorn, Kristaps Porzingis. Give me your opinion.
All right, I think that. All right, first off, away from Kristaps Porzingis, just the Mavericks as a whole. That's a tall team, bro. That is a really tall team. You got Boban and Kristaps both over 7 foot. You got Luka, who's what is he? Is he like 6'7"? I think something like that.
Uh, yeah.
That's like an average to like a little oversized guard. That's a huge team. But yeah, Kristaps never really got to prove himself. But if you look up Kristaps Porzingis on YouTube and his highlight reel, you'll know that Kristaps is the real deal. But he never really. I know he's only been in the league for like 3 or 4 years, but he hasn't played over 72 games. His first season, his rookie season, he played 72 games. In his second season, he played 66, and in his third season, he played 48. That's almost like half the season. 48 games is a little over half the season. But yeah, injuries kill Kristaps Porzingis because he's like a lengthy dude, and they can't really like take basketball that well. His injuries get to him, just like Kevin Durant with his ACL injury and stuff like that.
Yeah,
But
that's the big question, whether or not Kristaps can return to uh, either his full potential or something close to it, because injuries for big men, well, injuries for anybody is devastating. I mean, there's
Yep.
no injuries for short, injuries for tall people. It's injuries.
Yeah.
So, and with a crazy injury like this, you don't know if the person's gonna. It's a blessing if he comes back and plays basketball. Period. So, but I think with him and Luka Doncic, both men have extreme respect for each other.
Yep.
Uh, I think that, all bias aside, all my love for the Mavericks aside, I think that you put it perfectly. It depends on how Kristaps is. It depends on whether or not he can be able to come. And it's the entire, not even two people, the entire team. If we step away from duos, all the teams have to show up. It's just a leisure that there are duos that exist that can propel the teams towards superstardom.
And hopefully, even if Kristaps comes back to his full potential, or if he falls a little short from his potential,
Yeah.
it's just the thing that if Kristaps could stay healthy,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I hope that he could stay healthy because that Mavericks team with Boban, Luka, Kristaps, Dwight Powell, Tim Hardaway
Yep.
Jr., all those guys, that's a playoff team right there, 8th seed, maybe even
Hopefully,
higher.
yeah.
Honestly,
Hopefully.
I think they'll win maybe mid 40s. If they're on their game, they'll win 50 games, which will amaze me honestly. But
Yep.
most of the teams in the West, they're gonna be high win teams like
It's competition. It's
LA, all
do or
them.
die
Yeah.
in the West. Yep.
The West is insane. It's always been like that. The West has always been better than the East, no matter what players are on the East, because the West was always so much better, even though the greatest players of all time came from the East, like LeBron and Jordan. But West always, as a whole, was just like a better conference. But the East I mean, it can be competitive, but we all know who's going to come out on top in the East with obviously the Nets, the Celtics, the Sixers, the Bucks,
Mhm.
obviously. But yeah, I think that duo is going to be insane. Honestly, if anything, I hope the Luka Doncic averages a triple double this year. Honestly,
You're telling me.
completely deservable of rookie of the year. Even though I really like Trae Young, but he decided to turn it up in like the second
Towards
part of
the
the
end of the
season. But
season, yeah.
yeah, completely deservable. Luka Doncic. What would you like to move on to now?
I was gonna go to my second favorite,
Yep,
and which I think you know which one my second favorite duo is.
I do. I do. Jamal Murray and Nikola Jokic.
Exactly.
Two beasts, honestly. Two beasts, man.
Nikola Jokic, in my opinion, he's the best center in the league. He's a
Yeah.
fantastic big man. He even said himself, before he got tall, he was just a fat point guard. And there's still a lot of that point guard because, I mean, man,
He could
he's an
distribute the ball, bro.
he's an excellent passer. He's an excellent finisher.
Playmaker,
Um,
man.
you know, what can you say
Yeah.
about Jamal Murray?
Jamal Murray. I like Jamal Murray's play style. He's an excellent 3-point shooter. I think that
Mhm.
he should be in the 3-point contest next year. But yeah, Jamal Murray is awesome. He dishes the ball to other like key teammates, like obviously Nikola Jokic, Paul Millsap, Will Barton, Gary Harris. All those guys together as a team, their chemistry is amazing, and that's why they came out. What was it? Who came out first in the West last year? The Warriors, the Nuggets.
Warriors, then it was the Nuggets right behind them.
Yeah, I think the Nuggets were maybe one or a half a game behind the Warriors, but yeah, I think the Nuggets will be awesome. And Jamal Murray, he's a really good player. I actually like him a lot. He's so I guess I would name him top 10, top 15 point
He
guards in the
is. He
league.
was
Right? So,
he was just coming off this season. He averaged 18.2. I definitely think that next year he'll be able to turn it up. He was averaging 36.7 from percent, of course, from the 3 point. His field goal just shy of 44%. So I think he's going to turn it up next season. I think him and Nikola Jokic, they're a power couple, and they like each other. That's what the Nuggets are about. The Nuggets aren't about necessarily superstardom. They're about unity. They're about uh,
their
players
chemistry
that
as a team is amazing, man.
exactly. You have a vet in Paul Millsap over there. You have great team all around. Great coach Mike Malone.
That also
Um,
shows that the Denver Nuggets show that
you know,
you don't need superstars to
exactly.
compete in the league. Like the only superstars Nikola Jokic, and you borderline superstar in Jamal Murray. But
Yep.
other than that, you got Gary, you got Will, you got Paul Millsap, as you said, is veteran. If
Mason
you just
Plumlee over there
yeah,
backup.
Mason Plumlee. You put all those players together. You have one superstar. You fill them around with role players, and like a borderline all-star like Jamal Murray, and you can compete
Yep.
like the Nets. Just like the Nets, they didn't have like a they didn't have a superstar in D'Lo, but
Exactly.
they
Yep.
put D'Lo center stage, and then the rest of the team was full of role players. They have Dinwiddie. They got Joe Harris. They got Karis LeVert, who would have been an all-star if he didn't get injured. They got Jared Allen, who's a monster on the boards, all that. But yeah, the Denver Nuggets show that you don't need an insane team like the Warriors or the old Miami Heat or the Bulls. Like they show that you don't need an insane team to compete in the league, and that's why they were second in the West last year.
Exactly. Fantastic team, and I hope that they're gonna make a lot of noise.
Yeah.
I don't know. Take the wheel. What else?
Let's come away from duos for a little bit, and let's just talk about free agency as a whole.
Oh, all right. Good. Got you.
Let's pull who is a big signing? Oh, Kemba. Talk about Kemba. What's your take on Kemba?
Okay. Okay. Good that we got the Celtics here.
Yeah.
Kemba Walker is a fantastic player. Kemba Walker is amazing. It's a slap in the face to Kemba Walker that they paid him an X amount over the course of 8 years, and now they're giving Terry Rozier this same amount, and he's only signing for 3 years.
Even
I think
more.
even
Terry Rozier is making more. That's insane, bro. That's crazy. Terry Rozier compared to Kemba Walker, it's an unfair comparison. Kemba Walker is amazing, bro. That's crazy, bro.
I think it's a slap in the face
Yeah.
to Kemba Walker, but water under the bridge because I'm sure. Well, even if he does care about that, he has bigger things to focus on, and Kemba Walker has a great mentality, great mindset. I was talking about this with one of my friends. He's a Celtics fan, interestingly. Kemba Walker has been great. Kemba Walker is going to be great. It's about the people around him. Notoriously, Kemba Walker's always had bad teammates. Well,
Yep. But
yeah, no, I'm going to say
Charlotte.
it.
He's been on Charlotte his whole life. He's had pretty bad teammates. Charlotte wasn't really a good team from the
Now
Bobcats. Now, yeah.
he has fantastic teammates in Jason Tatum, in Jaylen Brown, in Gordon Hayward, who is on the come up right now from his devastating injury, hopefully. He has great players that he can dish to, great players that he can work with. The only question is, are those great players going to show up?
Yeah, but aside from, like, we're talking about the Celtics as a whole right now, but aside from just Kemba Walker, I think, honestly, that the Celtics got worse. I think the Celtics got worse. They took a huge hit in getting rid of, well, they didn't get rid of him, but Al Horford, signing with the 76ers. That was a huge hit. Amazing vet. He played a really big role for the team. And they signed Enes Kanter. He could grab a few boards. He's not really that good on the defensive end, if we're being completely honest. But that starting lineup in Kemba, Jalen, Jason Tatum. They also lost Marcus Morris, which is a huge hit too. He's a scoring machine, honestly. Yeah, and then still got Marcus Smart, who I honestly thought should have came to the Nets before he re-signed with the Celtics, because he has a lot of hustle, and he's great on the defensive end, and he can shoot the tray ball when he wants you to, when you want him to.
Yeah, I agree. I think the Celtics definitely have the East. Really, I mean, it's not. The East isn't a. What am I trying to say? It's not as deadly as the West is. It doesn't have that much competition.
Yeah.
Of course, it's still stacked.
Easy
You have
to
your
succeed.
superstars. Yeah. So the South, no doubt the Celtics are going to be in the playoffs. I mean,
Yeah, they're a lot.
hopefully, Kemba Walker can dish to Jason Tatum, dish to Jaylen Brown, dish to whoever he wants to, and they can sink that shot and make Kemba happy, because he hasn't had anybody to dish to in a while.
Let's talk about my favorite thing real quick. Let's talk about the New York Knicks. All right, I heard it, Knicks fan. You said you were gonna get Kevin Durant. You said you were gonna get Kyrie Irving. You said you were gonna get Zion Williamson, but instead, you spent borderline $200 million on just power forwards. Julius Randle, Taj Gibson, Bobby Portis, Marcus Morris, which I don't know why he came out of that deal with the Spurs. That was insane.
Yeah, I don't.
Crazy for that, but the Knicks are. They did a good thing by drafting R.J. Barrett, but the Knicks are they're a joke, and they've been a joke for a while now. But I'm a New Yorker, so I hope that they pick it up eventually. But I'm a Nets fan for life, man, no matter what.
I mean, in all honesty, the Knicks can definitely make the playoffs this year.
That was the funniest thing I've ever heard in my life.
Oh man, we can't do anything without clowning the Knicks a little bit. I think we should move on to the better New York team.
Hell yeah.
Your favorite team, so I'm gonna let you take this one away.
Hell yeah, bro. When I saw that Kevin Durant was signing with the Nets, I was like, this is a huge change. Like, I was talking to my friend before. His name is David Bacuzzi. I was talking to him before, and he was talking about how, when I was first watching the Nets, they were just like a hometown team and stuff like that. They had role players, and they were just like they were just a Brooklyn team. But now he said that they're a free agency team, which I agree with, because now you don't got no more role players like they used to have, like Andre Karolinko, Andre Blatch, Joe Johnson. Now they have Kevin Durant, one of the greatest scorers of all time.
Second greatest player in the league, in my opinion.
Of course, behind LeBron James. Don't at me on this. Kevin Durant is the best scorer of all time.
Yep.
James Harden's up there with him. But then I knew Kyrie Irving was coming too. You had to know it was coming. If you were looking at these reports and these rumors and stuff, you knew it was a done deal before free agency even started in June.
And that was insane, because seemingly everything happened overnight.
Yeah.
That's the way I see it. You had all the Knicks hype of we're gonna get Zion, right? They didn't get Zion in the draft. They fell third, and then just they lost all their assets. Nothing.
Yeah, the Nets, man. Their starting lineup. I was looking at it. They said their projected starting lineup is going to be Kyrie. Oh, we didn't even talk about DeAndre Jordan. That was a huge pickup. He's a nice vet. He's a nice mentor to Jared Allen when the time comes. But it's going to be Kyrie Irving, Karis LeVert, then Joe Harris, Kurucs, and Jared Allen. So that means that they're going to throw DeAndre Jordan on the bench, which he said he'll be accepting the bench role if they need him to. But yeah, bro, I think the Nets could be a solid. I don't know if they would reach 50 wins. I would say 47, 48 wins. Definitely maybe 4th or 5th seed in the league. But
right.
Yeah, bro. There's a future. There's a future in Brooklyn. I'll tell you that much.
Right. No, I think so. I mean, it's great. actually being over here from Brooklyn because
Yep.
no one can call me a bandwagon. It feels good. It feels nice.
I accept
Um,
you, bro. You've been watching basketball with me since I started watching it with you, and yeah,
yeah,
bro, you've supported Brooklyn most of the way, but I respect your choices of being a Mavericks and Nuggets fan.
of course.
Respect it.
Appreciate it.
Yep.
What was I gonna say? We're having a heart to heart over here, so I kind of lost what was
Yeah,
going on.
lost.
Uh,
Um,
I mean the Bucks. Bucks are gonna be the Bucks, right? We don't have to talk about that.
yeah, not really too many changes. They picked up
Actually,
Wesley Matthews.
it's kind of they lost Malcolm Brogdon, right?
Oh yeah, I forgot about
I
that. That
think
was huge.
that's
They took a hit there, right?
yeah. I think that's a blow. In my opinion, I think they're overpaying Chris Middleton as well.
Yeah. That's a lot of money.
But
He shouldn't even have been an All-Star in my opinion. But yeah, go ahead.
yeah, no, that's about it. But I think they're gonna do good. Giannis, he's Giannis. There's nothing to say except that he's definitely coming.
Yep.
Um,
Yeah,
MVP.
Malcolm Brogdon, former Rookie of the Year. He stepped it up for him. They put up 2 games against the Raptors, right? I think the Raptors won 6 against them too, but they put up 2 games. Malcolm Brogdon's coming off an injury, so he wasn't 100%. But yeah, they got him, and they picked up Wesley Matthews, he's a decent
Hmm.
three and D guy, but he's been in the league for a while, so he's starting to decline a little bit. He's an ex Maverick, but yeah, the Bucks will be the Bucks. What else? What else, man? We should actually move on to one of our segments.
Oh, okay. I'm down. I'm down. All
All
right.
right,
So,
so
uh,
you take it.
obviously, we want to keep the show fun. We want to keep the show moving. So
Yep.
we're gonna have multiple segments, and I think we should start it off with swish or brick.
Whew.
So,
Okay.
swish or brick. You can decipher it, good or bad. We'll talk about
Since we're on the
players.
topic, yeah, since we're on the topic of free agency, do you want to do like a free agency type of theme with this, like
Yeah, we'll
just the
talk about
signings?
yeah, we'll talk about players, free agency,
Yep.
uh, coming off of games, coming off of playoff games, real life, what's going on in the NBA scenarios, all that, everything NBA, and we'll talk about the topic and we'll state whether it's a swish for the player, for the team, for the NBA, for the franchise, or whether it's a brick. So pretty
So since we're on the
self-explanatory.
topic, yeah, since we're on the topic of duos and free agency as a whole,
Yep.
let's do free agency signings this year, okay?
Yeah.
This episode, not year, but um, let's start off with the first signing that I have over here. Jimmy Butler agrees to a 4-year, $142 million contract with the Miami Heat. What do you think about that?
Um, I think Jimmy Butler is a great player.
Yeah.
I think that he can definitely he's that star power that a team needs. Just this past season, he averaged 18.7.
Yep.
I definitely think that he can. This season was it would be tough for any NBA player. You're having he didn't like the atmosphere over there in Minnesota. He didn't like the players he was playing with. Reportedly, he said that he thinks Cat is too childish as well. He
Yeah.
had feuds with coaches, and relocated to a stacked team. Did great, and now he's moving on to his own team.
And after
So
you listening that stat talking about how he had 18.7 points, some people that are listening to this would think that 18.7 is low,
right,
talking about Jimmy Butler, but think of the team that he's on.
right,
Think of the team that he's on. He has Joel Embiid, top 3 center in the league, top 2 for sure. They got Tobias Harris, young gun. He's gonna be something one day. They got JJ Redick, who just signed with the New Orleans Pelicans. We'll get into that after the segment. And who else do they have? They have Ben Simmons, who's also a great scorer.
Mhm.
Yeah, they just got a bunch of scorers on this team, so it would be hard for everybody to get their points in if you just got so many egos on that team. But yeah,
And interestingly enough, in the 17-18 season, he averaged 22.2.
yeah,
So yeah, I think that this is definitely a swish. He's a
yeah,
great player.
100%.
Uh, him and Goran. Is
Yeah,
Hassan? What's
they
Hassan
did
Whiteside
pack.
on now?
Hassan Whiteside got traded to the Trailblazers, and then the Heat in exchange, they got Myers Leonard, who's a decent player. He's not bad. He's not horrible. He's a decent big man. He could crash the boards a bit. He has a chop. He got a 3-pointer. I'm okay for him. But yeah,
I think it's a swish. Either way.
yeah, definitely a switch. All right, let's get on to the next one. I don't know if I want to talk about this one. I might start bawling out in tears, but D'Angelo Russell agrees to a 4-year, $117 million contract with the Golden State Warriors. Take it away.
That's as nice as Curry's shot, baby. Self-explanatory.
Yep, that's definitely a swish. D'Angelo Russell, one-time All-Star, made it this year. Showed up in the season, freaking got the Nets back to the playoffs. To their, I
Oh
think it was
yeah.
like three or four Williams and that. But yeah, it wasn't all just the free agency signing though. They did a sign and trade to get Kevin Durant, and that's
Hmm.
another thing. Kevin
Right.
Durant said that trade, just straight up him for D'Lo, would be unfair. So that means that he told the Warriors that they should throw in a first round pick. So he got the Nets to acquire another first round pick. That's heart right there, yeah. That's heart.
Right. That's what the media won't show about Kevin Durant, damn it.
Yeah, of course. But and then speaking on the topic of the Warriors, they got rid of Andre Iguodala. They needed to do that. They needed to free some cap space. They needed the roster space, but Andre Iguodala saved them in that first finals against LeBron. The injuries too that didn't really help the Cavs at all, but yeah, Andre Iguodala wherever he goes, I hope he succeeds because he's on the second end of his career. But yeah, I hope he succeeds, man. But this is definitely a swish in my eyes for both the
Yep.
Nets and the Warriors.
Um,
You
definitely,
want
without a doubt.
you want to go on to the next one?
Uh, yeah, another one. So if we're talking about free agencies over here, and dynamic duos, how are we feeling about how the Trailblazers are looking right now?
Okay, let's speak on the Trailblazers. Okay, the Trailblazers just beat the Nuggets in 7 to play against the Warriors, and I
Yep.
think that Damian Lillard only shows up when he's playing against Russell Westbrook. But now since Russell Westbrook's not on a team by himself anymore, but obviously he had PG, but he's going to be playing against James Harden this time. So Damian Lillard's going to have to take it up a notch, especially against other teams because he, CJ McCollum outplayed him every series that they played except for the Thunder, except for that first round against the Thunder.
Yep.
But Damian Lillard, man, he's a really good player, but he needs to step it up in certain situations if he wants to be worth all that money that the Trailblazers want to give him. But yeah,
I agree. I think that yeah, he has he shows up. He doesn't always show up. He doesn't up, and we can't expect a player to always show up. If you get paid at a level of Damian Lillard, if you're a super Damian Lillard, if you have the assets like Damian Lillard, you have to. It's expected. Great
yeah,
player, the Thunder, quite literally. They just got into it. I don't know what was gonna happen. Sad.
you're lagging a bit on my end. You could just restate what you just said real quick.
What?
Just you're lagging a bit on my end. Can you just like restate what you said real quick about Damian Lillard?
Yeah.
Talking about him and the Thunder.
Damian Lillard. Lillard is a yeah. He's a superstar. He ended the Thunder quite literally. So I
Yeah.
think that he has to show up and But yeah.
Yeah, man, I feel that. Yeah. Let's get into the
I
last.
think their current state is a swish.
Yeah, I think that, especially with the addition of Hassan Whiteside, it's definitely a switch. But let's get
Yeah.
into our last Swisher brick, and then we're gonna talk a little bit and wrap this one up. Okay, so let's talk about the last one. Let's see which one I could pull up here. Let's talk about. I'm trying to find a good one. No. No. We could talk about Bojan Bogdanovic signing with the Utah Jazz. We could talk about the Utah Jazz as a team, and we could wrap this whole thing up. But yeah, take it away.
Oh, the Utah Jazz, they're a great team. Defensive player of the year in Rudy Gobert.
Yep.
Who should have been the rookie of the year, Donovan Mitchell, averaging not way more, but averaging points than Ben Simmons. But we're gonna put the beef aside between that is. Acquired Mike, right?
Yeah, Mike Conley,
Mike,
awesome player.
awesome player, fantastic, and they have the big Bogdan now, so
They're definitely going to
every
be a
time we see
high
a swish, I
high
think
seed.
that it's gonna be a great team.
Yeah, high
Yep.
seed team for sure. Yeah. But that was a good little segment. I appreciate everybody for watching the first ever episode of Top Key Talk.